Well, I'm really happy because my building opens up tomorrow after a long lockdown, so I can get out of the house. So I'm excited about that. I was doing one of my coaching calls today, and she said, what is your check-in word? I said, too much to do. She says, oh, I've never heard you say that, too much to do. And I said, yeah, that's true. I don't ever feel that I have too much to do. I just get on with it. And I guess because the building is opening up and I'm coming out of my quarantine and all of that, it just feels like I would like to do this, that, and the other. So there's like suddenly planning has come in. So it's an interesting feeling to have. So welcome to all of you. Welcome to the different continents that we have here, from Africa to London to Southeast Asia, Asia, Europe, the US. And thank you for sharing some of the experiences that you're having. Some of you are sharing that with me privately, and I really appreciate you doing that. It's quite something. This is very, very deep work, and I was introduced to it quite earlier on in my life when I embarked on my spiritual journey of awakening. And for those of you who may have read it in the B book and may recall, I mean, Bandhu, you were there with me before I went on that journey. I had a whole medley of health conditions, and and I was like so determined not to get caught up in medication, because our mother had suffered quite a lot from a very young age, and even though her original disease was caused by an outbreak of one of the refineries in Mumbai that gave her asthma, her medley of health conditions came from after effects of various medication. So I was like one of those people who really avoided medication as much as I could. So when I started receiving these connections to the different organs, and I understood the whole philosophy of vibration, and that everything is a vibration. And it makes so much logical sense. Like for me, yes, I do connect to the all-knowing, and I receive, and that is great. But I always have a question, so what? So what do I do with this information? And I also always want to know that it makes logical sense. So logically, it just makes perfect sense. Sure, we have to be vibrating for us to be sitting still. And if we are vibrating, then really we are a collection of vibrational frequencies. Now, if we are a collection of vibrational frequencies, clearly the vibrational frequency of blood is going to be different than vibrational frequency of my bone structure, vibrational frequency of my eyes. And if everything is a vibration, and our body is a collection of all these different vibrational frequencies that have been programmed to operate at a particular level, there could be various things that could get us out of sync. So yes, on the one hand, I just have a carte blanche, up-level my vibration at all times. And that's the miracle lens approach. And then when there is a physiological discomfort or dis-ease or a disorder, then understanding that there is a vibrational frequency issue here, and being able to go in and bring that originating intent back, so the organ by itself can start auto-correcting itself. So that was the journey that I went on for myself. And from February 2010, when I arrived in Bali with high blood pressure, hypertension, irregular heartbeat, hypothyroidism, very severe hormonal imbalance, quite a severe infection on my right ankle that wasn't going away, as well as very present type 2 diabetes, to October 2010, when none of those conditions actually existed. And I only understood this stuff really from August onwards. So it wasn't that I was doing this kind of clearing out stuff from my organs so that the organs could remember their originating intent. I wasn't engaged in that for 8 or 9 months. I just was introduced to it and didn't even believe it. But it felt good, you know, having a session with my intestines. Felt good. And then since then, it has been really fine-tuned a lot. And what I'm excited about this body of work that we are doing here is we get these organs to their originating intent, and then we up-level them. You know, so what I've learned is whenever there is dis-ease or whenever there is discomfort of any kind, the energy signature of that remains. So even if we have done something about releasing that discomfort, the energy signature still remains. And the energy signature remains and it gets activated the moment a vibrational frequency matches there. So by doing what we are doing now, where we are focusing organ by organ and getting that organ connected to remember what its originating intent is, and then up-leveling that section into the human vibe attunement, where the amplification of well-being takes place, because the human vibe attunement is the vibe of love. And the fact that that organ exists in a human body, the vibrational attunement is the attunement of the human form, which is love. And the human vibe attunement that we are now doing, because we're quite mature, all of us. I think this is why I was guided not to have it on Facebook Live at the moment. Because we are, all of us are already at a particular level where the soul presence and the human form are harmonizing quite nicely. And it has been harmonized for several of you. And certainly the moment you come into this session, that harmony occurs by itself. So it enables the organ to really go into the energies of the limitlessness, the eternalness, the indestructibleness of the soul presence, amplified by the pure experience of the vibration of the human form, which is love. And that is what is going on. Now, the colon, this is the first time I have done such an extensive body of work externally with a group of people on the colon itself. It's a very special organ. Like I said, it is the one that is the steward and the repositor of all the wisdom of all of our soul journeys. And it is the one that is connected to each and every organ. So working with the colon in such a deep way, we literally are going through various layers that go all the way down to when the colon was created as a vibrational signature. So when I look at how the creator created this human form, and again, that's probably another session, but just in essence, literally what it was the blueprint was a collection, like a series of dots, each one having a vibrational frequency. And that vibrational frequency made up, expanded into a form that made up our different organs. So, you know, the colon itself, its vibrational frequency is one of stewardship, and stewardship of that which is in service of a highest good. So activating that vibrational frequency within us, and then up-leveling it with the human vibe attunement that gives it that amplification of the presence of love. It's a very, very special, sacred task that we are doing right now. So I feel very blessed to be sharing that with all of you, and very blessed that each one of you are participating and presencing yourself fully in this. So today, the section of the colon that we are working on, it is on the left-hand side, but it is still the transverse colon. So it is the transverse colon that just before it turns into the descending colon, that section. Now that section is the section that is connected to the different layers of the brain, and it is also connected to our circulatory system. So, you know, like when we get anxious, we get that rumbling in our tummy, or, you know, if you're afraid of something, there's like a gripping feeling that we have in our tummy. It's all, the brain connection to the colon is very, very direct. And some experience the IBS, irritable bowel syndrome. And some experience just such tightness that it converts into very long-standing constipation that takes a lot of effort to be released. And others have the IBS, which is the, you know, irritable bowel syndrome. So a lot of that is coming from that connection between the brain and the colon. Now, the circulatory system and the connection of the colon to the circulatory system is really important, because how does our body absorb the nutrients being released by the colon? You know, the blood is the one that actually takes it. And there's a blood supply to a particular organ, that's the one that takes it. So the combination of the two, it's interesting how perfectly the Creator has created us, that the brain and the circulatory system is literally in that same region. The circulatory system is more towards where the colon turns into the descending colon. And the brain is pretty much the rest of the transverse colon. The prolapse, this is another area of the colon which prolapses quite often for people. And in that prolapse, it causes all sorts of issues in terms of the movement of the fecal matter. And you know, one of the ways of treating the prolapse is through an extended series of sessions using a colon hydrotherapy method. The prolapse is also a metaphorical representation of what the brain is. You know, when the brain is weakened, it gets weakened when hopelessness and helplessness comes in, like a giving up is what causes the brain to weaken. It's like so much that needs to be done, it's out of our control, give up. And that weakens that muscle. Remember, the colon is a muscle. And it's a muscle that is constantly subject to gravity, the gravitational pull. It's a muscle that really is required to be very toned. So when the brain and the toning of that muscle occurs through some of the breathing exercises that, you know, I know that many of you who've participated in the Journey into Miracles have known my breathing sequence that I do. And which, you know, at some point it'll be shared with others. So that definitely helps. The way in which you work with Pilates or yoga and how you create, when I know that Iyengar yoga has a very particular way in which you get a posture right before you do the yoga move itself. And that definitely does support this, support the colon. When the brain gets into that giving up state and it gets weakened, the colon becomes, as a muscle, it starts to become very prone to prolapsing. So that's just some little bit of theory. All of this is based on my experience. I am not a medical practitioner. I only share what has served me. And all of this is here to serve you in whatever it is that you are engaged in. Don't take it as instead of, be responsible for your own well-being. So having said all of that, let's begin the work. So get yourself to a space where you are comfortable, you feel supported, and your back is upright. Ideally, you are sitting there with your feet on the floor, and if you're not, you're sitting cross-legged, that is fine. If you're sitting in a way where your feet are stretched in front of you, that's fine, we will make do with that. But if your feet are on the floor, it just gives us a few more anchors into the core of the earth. So imagine the base of your spine is connected to the core of the earth. The middle of your feet are connected to the core of the earth. Drop your hands on either side of you. Move your palms slightly facing forward. Fingers a little bit stretched. The tips of your fingers going into the core of the earth. They're all connected to the core of the earth through a golden cord. The golden cord has in it the vibrational frequency of precious metal gold. We also have the presence of copper, silver, and we have our favorite shungite here. We're actually going to, once we've done the clearing, we're actually going to place like the vibrational frequency of shungite into that region of the colon. And we're only going to place it for the next 36 hours. Shungite is a meteor that came down on our planet about 15 million years ago. Maybe longer, don't know. It's found in a particular part of Ukraine, I believe. It's used very rampantly by the Siberian shamans, and particularly the Siberian healers, descendants of Anastasia. Are informed by the wisdom of shungite. Shungite as a crystal, its role is to neutralize all forms of negative and lower energy forms. And the reason why this is coming in for us today is because we are working on the brain and the circulatory system. And remember, you may recall from my early sessions when we were up-leveling the human form, I talked about that we have three systems. We have flow systems, organ systems, and life force systems. The flow systems include the circulatory system, and disease first sets in the flow system. So having shungite placed in that part of the colon, and it's here to neutralize all forms of negative and lower vibrational forms. When disease first sets in, and we are experiencing any form of disease, our own vibration starts to get lowered. So shungite will neutralize that. And therefore, the nutrients that will be going to our circulatory system and the brain will be the ones that are in service of our highest good, because all the negative and lower vibrations will be neutralized. Shungite is also known for neutralizing pollutants. From the towers to other forms of air pollutants, pesticides, shungite neutralizes those, and as it releases that, our body automatically up-levels to its highest vibrational frequency. There's an automatic scanning that is taking place. All of you are already in tune with that. So automatically, there's a scanning that is taking place in concentric circles. From the top of your forehead, all the way down to the base of your feet, that is happening. I want you to just imagine, as if you're standing there, your higher self is automatically creating these concentric circles and scanning them, scanning all the way through, so all energies that no longer serve you, that are not in the highest service of, not in service of your highest good, are being released into the core of the earth. It's going all the way down to the base of your feet. Just imagine as if you are standing there and like your own personalized PPE kit, if you like, equivalent, is just wrapped around you. It's in the form of a light blanket. And it's a light blanket that is right now being attuned to your own light. And as a blanket, it has the ability to go into all the different crevices and wrinkles and folds in your skin and in your body, so that you are completely encased in this light blanket. And this light blanket has its own light frequency. And when we do the 9-4-6 breath, which we are going to do in a moment, it will get into the rhythm of you in your whole and completeness. And it will activate your own inner illumination. What it also does is it allows your light, without any effort from you, to illuminate out through you at a cellular level and applies the amplification vibration of the human vibe to that light as it expands. And it expands all the way across the 7 seas and beyond, connecting to every person that you have ever connected with, directly or indirectly, so that they too start remembering that experience of being in their own light. They may not remember it consciously, but that's fine. We are just working at a cellular level. So when you up level, they experience the joy of up-leveling as well. But they may take a little bit longer. You've been at it for a lot longer. But that someone has to start somewhere. And what we're doing here with this work, where the brain and the circulatory system is being worked on, we are returning the original memory of why our soul chose to birth itself in this human form. It did so because it wanted to amplify its experiences in relationships and relating. And there was so much of uncertainty, so much of unknown in all of that, because that was not something that existed in the soul presence. Everyone is one. We are the creator, and we are an essence of the creator. The separation of this essence of the creator in each of these human bodies allows for that relationship and relating dynamic to play out. So there was great enthusiasm for what was to emerge. And using this light blanket, the blanket of illumination, that is already well on the way to being attuned to each of your own inner illumination, you're bringing back that remembrance of rejoicing. Not everyone who wanted to be birthed in the human form got that opportunity. Because this human form was meant to be a form that its originating intent is rejoicing with this innate vibration of love. So its expression of love in an amplified way is all about celebration and rejoicing. It's as if this planet where this human form was created and the human journey was going to play out was meant to be an environment of festivities. And one of the things I had the luxury of doing when I was in Bali was to really track how many days a year do we have festivals if we actually went across the entire planet. And every day of the year there is a festival. Literally, life was meant to play out like a festival. It was a festival of aliveness. That's where we are going with this. Okay, let's get into the 9-4-6 breath. Breathe in 9, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Hold 2, 3, 4. Breathe out 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Breathe in 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Hold 2, 3, 4. Breathe out 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Breathe in 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Hold 2, 3, 4. Breathe out 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You're going to breathe in, take that breath down from the middle of your spine, and then breathe out through that region of your colon, as if you're breathing out through your navel. And the breath out is going to come out from that colon region. So breathe in, all the way to the base of your spine, and then you breathe out, breathing out through your navel. Breathe in love, kindness, and compassion. Breathe out gratitude and peace. Breathe in love, kindness, and compassion. Breathe out gratitude and peace. Breathe in love, kindness, and compassion. Breathe out gratitude and peace. Let's take 3 more breaths like that, and then just return to regular breaths. Now we're actually going to place the Shungite frequency in the transverse colon, specifically in that region where the brain and the circulatory system are connected. Literally, Shungite literally just sucks into it all forms of negative and lower end vibrations. So you know when you get anxious at a particular point, and there's a direct connection to your tummy, that's just this part of the colon that has got a memory about bringing about that reaction. So it's literally being sucked out into this Shungite. Shungite neutralizes it. We have your light that is now in the attunement of you, in your rhythm. And that light is literally penetrating your cells from your skin all the way down into the insides of you. And there's a particular focus. We are focusing our attention on this particular part of the colon. Some of you may experience a little bit of tingling in your third eye region. Others may feel a little bit of piercing on your brain stem. Some may feel a big exhale. Allow that to occur. Crackling of the ears will occur. Shungite is also absorbing some of those cellular memories of incidents. And it could be incidents of having some dental work. It could be incidents, where that brain and gut connection really got out of whack. Incidents could be an emotional situation. Anxiety of speaking from the stage or being surrounded by lots of people. Finding yourself going out of control in terms of your extrovertness and feeling embarrassed afterwards. So many cellular memories exist there. We're actually going to leave the Shungite there, like I said, for the next 36 hours. And it's just going to absorb all of those that no longer serve you. There'll be some memories that are important for you to notice. So, be prepared for receiving them during your dream time. Be prepared from seeing them, remembering those memories through a sign that you might see. And if you feel distressed by any of those, just do a 9-4-6 breath at the time and be with that distress, and it will dissipate. We've already diminished it greatly. One of the ways in which our body processes, especially when there is an excretion that is needed of old memories and emotional triggers that may not have been digested in the colon, it sometimes processes that through our sensory organs. So you may find some itchiness on your skin. You may find a craving of a certain kind which you never ate before, like somebody shared in the group. You may find some uncontrollable twitching of your left eye or right eye, depending on which aspect of you requires recalibration. It will only last for a short time. It's nothing to do. Some of you may experience hiccups too. In doing what we are doing, we are also bringing the memory back into your brain. So the brain knows the capacity to which it requires to hydrate itself for it to be in the highest service of what you are here to cause on the planet. The dehydration of the colon, transverse colon, has got a great propensity towards that. Literally dehydrates your brain and has a direct impact on remembering, memory, all those kind of things. Not all memory loss is dementia. A lot of it is lack of hydration. The brain is over 90% water. The actual size of it is like a walnut. Take your left hand and just put it where that transverse colon is. Wherever you feel. It's actually just above your navel, on the left-hand side, a little bit towards the left-hand side. That's where we are working. You're taking your left hand there, you're taking your right hand and putting it over your heart. You're anchoring the originating intent remembrance in the now. It's a lot of movement of energy that has taken place. So allow yourself to yawn if that's what is happening. Some of you may feel some excess buildup of saliva, and that is fine. There's great joy in the pancreas. The pancreas are starting to smile. I think it's the circulatory system that is supporting that. Okay, we are now ready to do the human vibe attunement. We've got ourselves into the perfect state. You can relax your hands now, put them on top of your thighs, your palms facing upwards. You will notice a little bit of a tug on the back of your crown, and that's just stretching your spine because so much of your spine has got recalibrated into the way it is meant to be. So your discs are like going in and slotting themselves the way they're meant to. So it's okay. It's okay. You don't need to shift or anything. Just increase the grip of your feet on the floor. And that stretch will be a very beautiful stretch. Okay, repeat after me. It is our human form, which is harmonized with our soul presence, that is making this declaration. And in doing so, with every word that we say, it's a prayer. It's a prayer to the deity that is the illumination within ourselves. It's an acknowledgement of this human form to hold this amazing being, which is the illumination of you. And it is the illumination of you that drew the soul presence into you. Any programming that you may hold in your cellular memories of your brain or in your circulatory system about your pedigree, your parents, your grandparents, the way you were brought up or not, stuff that might be unrequited, all of that is literally being transmutated right now by that Shungite vibrational frequency that we have in there. And when we up-level it, all those memories will be released. Any hooks and shackles that you may hold will also neutralize. Okay, let's begin. I acknowledge myself as a human. I receive myself as a human. I accept myself as a human. I acknowledge myself as a human. I receive myself as a human. I accept myself as a human. I acknowledge myself as a human. I receive myself as a human. I accept myself as a human. I acknowledge myself as a human. I receive myself as a human. I accept myself as a human. I'm taking an extended pause just for you to experience that up-leveling that is being brought about. I acknowledge myself as a human. I receive myself as a human. I accept myself as a human. I acknowledge myself as a human. I receive myself as a human. I accept myself as a human. I acknowledge myself as a human. I receive myself as a human. I accept myself as a human. I acknowledge myself as a human. I receive myself as a human. I accept myself as a human. I acknowledge myself as a human. I receive myself as a human. I accept myself as a human. Breathe in 9, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Hold 2, 3, 4. Breathe out 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Breathe in 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Hold 2, 3, 4. Breathe out 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Breathe in 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Hold 2, 3, 4. Breathe out 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Take your hands in front of your heart, rub them against each other. Just keep rubbing them and take them up towards your third eye. Keep rubbing them. Put them over your eyes, open your eyes in them. Take them on top of your head, the back of your head, down your neck, down your shoulder, and do an energy sweep. Okay, the human vibe attunement itself is complete. If you need to leave, please go ahead and leave. And if you can, share with me on the chat your anchoring word for this work, then please do that. Eliza, I'm going to take Masti and Miracles. Why do we do the energy sweep? We do the energy sweep just in case there's a lot of energy that is being released and not everybody is used to automatically releasing them through yawning and stuff. So just in case there's anything left, the last energy sweep just gets rid of it. That's why we do the energy sweep. And thank you for asking that question too. There is no word to express the depth of gratitude I feel. Goldenette, blessings, magnificence, high frequency, peace, love, three hearts, wonderful opening feeling. Big thanks to you and big thanks to you. Flow, release, serene, centered, love, being, clear vessel, love, grace, and miracles. Yes, love. Feel vibrating, transverse colon. Yes. Presence, gratitude for this peaceful feeling, invigorating, peaceful and calm. A lot of release. Thank you for the answer. Smiles from my colon. Yes, beautiful. Release. Thank you. Inner smile and nurturing. Cleared. Saw Lady Nada. Wow. In a green emerald dress. Saw lots of green emerald. Also saw lots of energy release. Thank you. Lady Nada is a very beautiful mothering force right now, you know, for each one of us to just feel like held by Mother. Clearing, elevated, strongly connected to the integration of my human form and soul aspect. Thank you for sharing that love and gratitude. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Just know the next 36 hours, this is being recalibrated. So when we get together on Thursday, we're going to go to the skeletal system. Resolute love from London. Thank you, Mary. Thank you. Lots of love. Good to complete the meeting now. Thank you.